Today we are back with a new video. So let's get ahead in the book of Mark. So the first verse that caught my eye is, "And Jesus said to him, 'Go your way, your faith has made you well.' And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way." Mark chapter 10, verse 52. This phrase, "your faith has made you well," has been repeated so many times by Jesus to the people who came to him to heal themselves. And I thought that it was very interesting because now I understand that you got to have faith in what would heal you. Because if you don't have faith, probably even God cannot help you. And it's been well established that Jesus is God, right? So you got to have faith in what you believe will make you well. Because if you don't have the exact faith, the exact deep faith in which that will heal you, then probably it won't. So you got to have all the faith in the world to and truly believe that what will heal you is exactly what you believe in. And there is a probability that what you have faith in might be wrong. So you can do an analysis of what you hold is true, is correct. Well, how can you do that? Well, you see, right? Have people already tried it out? Have people already believed in the same things have you? How have things worked out for them? And then you do some research and then you try it out for yourself, because there is no one size fits all, right? People have different ways to get about what they want. And what you can do in the most truthful and ethical way is to choose the best possible path where no one is harmed, but rather you give up your sacrifices in the faith that you will get exactly what you want. And that's the safest manner of achieving your goals, right? Because then you don't have to trample over people. So you got to have faith in what you believe will heal you. Because if there is no faith, then because no one else can believe it for you, you have to believe it for yourself. And that's always the case, right? So, and in order to achieve what you want, exactly what you want, what you have to do, practice. You have to practice it. So Jesus talks about it in Mark chapter 11, verse 24. He says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." So what Jesus says here is that act like what you want has already been given to you. Well, people call it manifestation. Well, that's the base term for it. And people might call manifestation as pseudoscience, but I don't think that we truly understand how the universe works. We don't truly understand, because we can't even map out the exact details of what happened in the last 100 years. So it would be too prideful and too arrogant to say that we truly understand how the universe works, right? And what is manifestation in its truest form, anyways? It is actually practicing. It is the constant practice of who you want to be. So if manifestation is acting like what you want, you already have it. If manifestation is exactly that, then what you're doing in the process of manifestation is exactly practicing the kind of person that you want to be. So for example, let's say if you want to be a certain kind of a famous man who talks in a certain way, so a good way to go about it would be, all right, how does he walk? How does he sit? How does he talk with people? What are his hand movements? What are his facial expressions? What is the tone of their voice? So it's a deep study of the exact kind of person that you want to be. And in the process of manifestation, what you're doing is exactly practicing the kind of person that you want to be. And there is no pseudoscience to it. It is very simple. What you're doing is a constant prayer and practice of exactly what you want. Because if you want to be a certain kind of person, if you want to be a certain kind of a famous man, and they might have possessions that you want exactly, you might want their life exactly. So what you're doing in the process of manifestation is that you are practicing that to be that kind of person so that you become worthy of what they have. So I saw it from a video by Jenny Driver. So she carries a key to her dream house in her wallet. So I just did the same. Now I've got a key here. This is something to show you guys. This is the key to my house in the hills, but I don't have it yet. But I just carry it around so that I can submerge submerge myself in the feeling of owning that house, in the feeling of ownership of that house, of the property. So now what is the consequence of feeling of that feeling is that I am constantly thinking, okay, what kind of person would have that kind of property? How would they talk? How would they walk? What kind of demeanor do they have? And how do they look all the time? And what do they do in order to afford that kind of luxury? And this is a constant practice, like I mentioned before. And look, if you are going to live for the next 100 years, which is not a stretch given the tremendous advancement in technology, you might as well try anything and everything that is ethical to use it to your advantage and get exactly what you want, right? So, and of course, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because if it was easy, then everyone would do it, right? So, you probably and will, it's not a probability, you will have to give up the proper sacrifice. You will have to give the proper sacrifice to God so that you get exactly what you want. Well, there is a very similar verse which explains it very nicely in Mark. So it says, and he called his disciples to him and said to them, truly I say to you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the offering box. For they all contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, has put in everything she had, all she had to live on. Mark chapter 12, verses 43 to 44. So, in this story, the widow, the poor widow, what she does is she gives up everything to God, what she had to live on. So, this is the base for a sacrifice. What she did was a sacrifice, right? Because she gave up everything that she had to God in the hopes that he will be happy with her sacrifices. And yes, sometimes when you do the sacrifices, usually the case, well, at least sometimes the case is that it's not enough. You might think that it's enough, but it's not enough. So then you might not get the results, and people usually get resentful. Because then they start thinking to themselves, oh, you know what, I've sacrificed so much but I still didn't get it, and now what am I supposed to do? So they start feeling hopeless. The best move at that exact moment is to give up more sacrifice. Because there is this picture that floats around the internet and you see it from time to time. So there is this miner. He keeps digging and digging and digging and digging. So he gives up just before he hits the gold. So that is very insightful, right? Because the feeling that possesses you during the entire process of digging is anxiety and doubt. But then you have to keep on digging and digging and digging and digging. And then at the exact moment when you think that, there might be no results, that's exactly when you get it. And I'm sure that you guys have had, well, many people have had such similar experiences, where they went at it, they worked and worked and worked for exactly what they want. And, even though that they were possessed with doubts, they still went at it and it happened. And look, sometimes, like I said, it just doesn't. But the journey that you have to go through in order to get exactly what you want makes you a different person. What the journey is doing is forging you to be better, because you're not the same person who started the journey, but you're definitely a different person, at least mid journey, and by the end of it you're a completely different person. And you can always take a look back two years ago, if you had started your improvement journey there, you can see how much you have already improved, and that is something to do. So the sacrifice is the only way to get exactly what you want, and might as well do it, because that's what God demands of each and every one of us. Well, guys, thank you for the opportunity. I'll see you next time.